Peace and love, guys. And today we're going to talk about these states of bliss that you can achieve inside of meditation. Now, I want you to know that I'm not calling myself an expert meditator by any means. I'm just a guy who meditates a lot, and I've received a little bit of instruction from some masters, and so I'm just taking what I've experienced and the stuff that I've learned from, and I'm talking a little bit about that and about what they teach and what they say happens when you meditate deeply. Now, a lot of you came here because I mentioned bliss and because I said that this feels incredible. But if you came here for instant gratification, then this isn't the thing for you. You can exit the video. Now, if you came here because you want a life skill that's going to make you feel better, that's going to make you wiser, and that does feel pretty damn good sometimes, then this might be for you. But again, if you're just here because you want to feel good quick type of thing, something that just magically makes you feel like orgasmic levels of pleasure, then you shouldn't be watching this. All right, now that they're all gone, I do have to tell you something though. You can feel orgasmic levels of pleasure meditating. It is a really full body, wonderful feeling. But the reason why I said instant gratification is not this is because it takes work and it takes discipline, right? You have to be willing to meditate every day if you're going to really get to that level and feel that incredible feeling, right? Now, a lot of people think meditation is just sitting around with your eyes closed, but that's not it. It has a purpose. Now, I mentioned neuroplasticity in some of my earlier videos, but basically what it is that the more that you do something, the more that your brain shape changes in order to optimize for that skill, right? So Shamata meditation, I like to call it concentration meditation because it's teaching you how to concentrate, right? It's taking something that's hard to concentrate on and it's really getting into it. It's really focusing on it, right? What I'm going to be talking about right now are the first 4 jhanas. And jhana you can think of as meaning the word level. It really means like contemplation or meditation, but we're going to be talking about jhanic levels, which are like states of being that you can experience when you're meditating. Now, the first 4 ones are called the fine material jhanas, and they're called that because they embody emotions and feelings that we feel on a regular day-to-day life, whereas the ones that are deeper in are something that we never experience without meditating. Now, like I said, there are 4 jhanas, and the practice that we're talking about is called Shamata Meditation. If you want to learn how to do Shamata Meditation, you should check my other video on how to do it. But now we're just describing the experience, what you can find as you get deeper into the practice, right? So it starts off with this thing that they call access concentration. Now, access concentration is just kind of this first feeling when you first, your mind starts to settle down. And what you'll notice if you're doing anapanasati or mindfulness of breathing is that it's this really interesting experience. Your breath it gets softer. It's hard to describe, but basically it's like it fades, right? So it gets to this point where you're in this really calm place and your breath is really fine. Like you can barely feel it. You barely feel the breath going through your nose. And the longer you're in it, the more you'll start to feel this sense of pleasure, right? It'll be like sometimes it comes in your head and sometimes it comes in your body. I've had it happen in both different ways, but it basically, it'll feel really enjoyable, like a really, I don't know how to describe it other than using like orgasmic, but it's, a really satisfying feeling, and it'll start either in your chest, it'll start in your head, and it'll start to slowly fill the rest of your body until your whole body feels like it's just like traveling, like with waves of pleasure. Now you'll start to enter this thing called first jhana, and the first jhana, its other name is rapture, right? Because it's a physical like enjoyment feeling that you get when you are in it. How you know you're in the first jhana and that you've left access concentration is there's a couple of steps really. Once you get to the place where you start feeling that pleasure, what you want to do is shift your focus, right? So you stop focusing on the breath so much, but you focus instead on the pleasurable sensation, right? And for the people who are like really scientific, what this does is it starts to create a positive feedback loop in your body. And it goes, basically it's releasing norepinephrine, and you can look deeper into this on your own, but it creates a positive feedback loop, and the more that you focus on the pleasure, and you can't comment on the pleasure, you can't like say this is good, or oh look, I'm doing well, I'm a great meditator, I finally got this, because the moment you do that, it goes away, gone. You can't do that. You just have to be calm, and you just have to focus on the feeling. Because if you just absolutely do nothing but focus on the feeling will get stronger. But if you try and make the feeling stronger, or you try and change anything about it, it's gone. It's happened to me, and it can be really frustrating, like when you're finally getting into it, and like you've been doing it for a couple of weeks, and you finally start to have this feeling, and then it just keeps disappearing. Just keep working through it, and you'll find that it gets easier with time. Now, when you focus on that feeling, it'll get stronger and stronger until you're really wrapped in this feeling of like a physical pleasure, right? And then, so the second jhana is called joy, right? And it's called joy because along with this physical pleasure that you feel in the meditation, you'll start to have this feeling of emotional joy. Now, this is where my personal experience stops. I've made it to the first jhana, and I've been slowly moving into the second jhana and feeling what that is like, but that's where my expertise ends, right? So I'm going to be talking from the point of view of the books that I've read and from the masters that I've spoken to. And so in this level, in this place, what you do is you take that focus on the physical pleasure and you bring it down to the emotional pleasure, right? Which is, again, they call it joy. And what happens is your mind really calms down. Because what you notice is the first jhana feels really awesome, but it's like all over the place. It's super agitated, it's here, it's there, because there's just this like constant, it feels like explosions of pleasure all over the place, and it gets a little you'll see what I mean when you get there. But then you move into that emotional state, and you let go so much of the physical place, and you start to really focus on the emotional joy, and you'll start to have this feeling of just real happiness, real true like deep inner happiness just kind of filling your body, and you'll probably start smiling. That's at least how I've been starting to get into it, and it's really intense. But again, it's just the second level, right? So the third jhana is this stage they call contentment, right? And it's when you switch the focus from that emotional joy and you start tuning it down and you just start relaxing more. And what you'll find is that like even that second place, even though compared to the first place was a lot calmer, it still was all over the place and it was still really agitated. And you'll start to get into the third place, which is contentment, the third jhana. And it's supposed to be very, very calming and very, very relaxing, right? But it's not where you're stopping, right? The whole point of this is to get to the fourth jhana, which is called equanimity. Really crazy word, but what it means is neither positive nor negative. It's a very tranquil place, and it's very, very, very relaxing. You'll find that you're not you aren't feeling pleasurable, you aren't feeling not pleasurable, you're just in this absolute like quietude. And the whole goal is really to get to this state, because what happens is once you get to this state, you can start doing vipassana meditation, which is really searching for wisdom and trying to understand yourself better. Now, I like to call this concentration meditation, because what you'll find is every layer you go deeper into this, the strength of your concentration will increase. And it's crazy because like you would never think that your mind could focus that strongly, but it's taking your ability to concentrate and turning it from this really blunt rock into like an incredibly fine and incredibly sharp arrow, right, or a knife. And it starts to let you really just hone in and grab onto the things that you're trying to focus on, whether it's like I said, homework or work, or making sure that you're really present with your coworkers, with your family, just really being there and being with people. And well, that's it. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And well, tell me in the comments what you liked about this video, and what else you'd like for me to talk about if I wasn't like clear enough about one part of this or anything like that. Because, well, like I said, I'm here to help you, and I want to show you this wonderful thing because it's been really impactful on my life. Have a great day.